We had Jill here last year, and for those of you that may have seen her last year, she put on a phenomenal show, most of which I think I had to hold the computer up for.
It might not be as good this year.
We don't want to set the expectation too high, but assuming you don't have high expectations, you really should enjoy tonight's show. But please, Jill does a phenomenal job, very entertaining, very poignant, but also very straightforward, tells it like it is. Please welcome Jill Sobule.
This dream, we were in the resistance, somewhere in France, fighting traitors and fascists. You were my mistress, yes, you were a woman, but I knew it was you by the shape of your mouth. You called me Maurice, and I had a small mustache, played clarinet in a decadent band until we I'm a cocktail waitress, dodging men's hands instead of bullets, and you're a bass player in a band that got a deal, dealing with assholes instead of explosives. Still we're grateful to be alive, together fighting side by side as we hide in the bushes, shoot from the bushes, love in the bushes like there's no tomorrow. We'll hide in the bushes, shoot from the bushes, love in the bushes like there's no tomorrow. La 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 la. We promised if one of us left or died, we'd meet again in another life, and we'll hide in the bushes, shoot from the bushes like there's no tomorrow. We'll hide in the bushes, shoot from the bushes, love in the bushes like there is no tomorrow. At first I was a Catholic girl. I loved the mass. I watched the swirl of smoke from candles burning, while Mary looked up yearning. I got confirmed and I confessed, I really felt that I was blessed. Plus I loved my uniform, so did the boy who lived next door. Then something changed when I became of age, and all those things I thought were true, one day I'd break the big taboo of letting go of God, letting go of God, letting go of God. And then I turned my mind to the east. The Himalayas calling me, sitting under the Bodhi tree, just trying to feel something. But then at home I won't let go. Still so much for me to know. I read the Tower of Physics and all those quantum mystics. Something didn't feel right. The arguments weren't all that tight, and all those things I thought could be true. One day I'd break the big taboo of letting go of God, letting go of God, letting go of God. I gotta scroll for a second here. At first I was sad and a little bit dark, and then I relied on the mind of my heart. And now we tried, we could change our fate, and love life and celebrate. Everyone, letting go of God, letting go of God, letting go of God, letting go of God. And if you sing it, letting go. Julia's part is God's. If you sing it, I'll do her part. Letting go of God. One more time now. Letting go. Goodbye, Krishna. Goodbye, Mohammed. Goodbye, Jesus. Goodbye, Zenu. Goodbye, Marani. Goodbye, Ganesh. Goodbye, Buddha. Letting go of God. Letting go of God. Letting go, letting go of God. Letting go. Hey, amazing grace. Thank you. That's a hit. If you were here last, you know I am from Colorado. Yeah. And yay. I grew up in Denver and I went to school and college in Boulder. I was at Williams Village, the big towers.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, oof. The fire traps. But I don't know how this segues into this. But this is a song when I lived in Denver. Does anyone know where Genesee Park is? You know, well, we used to go, when I was in high school, there used to be the Battle of the Bands. Does anyone remember there'd be Battle of Bands and we'd go there and we'd get really fucked up and we would go, my mother's here. So, but in a good way. And this is a song thinking about how great those days were back when it didn't you didn't have a job. It didn't matter what you did. But I'll tell another story about this song. Is that lately I've been doing these shows with Julia Sweeney. Do you know who she is? The Jill and Julia show. I tell a story. No, I sing and then she tells a story. She's really funny and she tells the story. I wish I could do it of how she was never in her life did she do any drugs at all, and then she'd been on like spiritual quest and experimented with different religions, and she went out with this one boyfriend, I think 5 years ago, who said, if you've never tried acid, let's do it together. And she tells the story of doing it where she goes, and it was the most amazing thing. She was like, he played the bongos and it was the most amazing bongo playing, and we kissed, it was the most amazing kiss, and we listened to Vivaldi's Four Seasons, and it was just, I could see the orchestra around me, and I really saw what he was saying. That was the most incredible spiritual body, soul, and mind, and that was 5 minutes. And then 10 hours of the worst time I've ever had in my entire life. She tells it much better, but it's a true story, but here's mine. Me and Betty Shelley were at Cinnamon Park, waiting for the Battle of the Bands. Betty's older brother had a bad reputation and a waterbed in his hand. Hey, Jill and Sue, I got something for you, something that'll blow your mind. He walked into his van and he opened his hand. He said it's only Mother Nature, only Mother Nature. Cinnamon Park in the cinnamon days. the days. Wish I could go back again. Betty's now in rehab and she's using again. Her brother's unemployed but with a brand new van. Billy came in second in the battle of the bands. Wish I could go back again. Cinema Park and the cinema days. So freaked out but in a really good way. In a really good way, yeah, those were the days. I wish I could go back again. This song, I had to come up with in an hour. It was before, over a year ago, when Al Gore was just putting out his movie and he was speaking, and they asked me before he came on to speak if I would come up with a song about global warming, and I'm like, and I knew it was going to be a real bummer of an evening, so I thought I'd try something happy. Strolling along in Central Park, everyone's out today. The daisies and dogwoods are all in bloom. Oh, what a glorious day for picnics and frisbees and roller skater, friends and lovers and sunbathers. Everyone's out in merry Manhattan in January. I brought the iced tea. Did you bring the bug spray? The flies are the size of my head. And next to the palm tree, did you see the gator? Looks happy and very well fed. Everyone's out in merry Manhattan in January. My preacher said, now don't you worry, the scientists have it all wrong. And so who cares, it's winter here, and I have my halter top on. The surfers on Park Avenue avoid the old street signs. They're glad that they survived the plague and how the sun does shine. Everyone's out in merry Manhattan in January. Ba, 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 ba. This one, I'm happy. It's just an excuse to do songs that I first learned. You see, this is a song about a girl I went to St. Mary's and Hill Junior High School with in Denver. Yeah. Margaret, back in junior high, Margaret, oh yellow girl, she was the most popular girl. Margaret, she was beautiful. Margaret developers, we all thought she had all the luck in the world. She never noticed me, what could I give her? 10 years later, well, Margaret moved to West Hollywood. We all thought she could make it if anyone could. Margaret, she missed the reunion. Margaret, we never heard what became of St. Mary's glamorous girl. Until the day at the video center, man held a tape with the girl on the cover in bad lingerie on a Cadillac Fender. Ooh, Margaret, dear Margaret, do-do-do, such a lucky girl, do-do-do, St. Mary's girl, how could I but forget Margaret? Margaret, slutty bitch Margaret, Margaret. So I guess, how long of a break are we taking? What doesn't matter to me. 15-minute break. And talks amongst yourselves. Do whatever you want to do. I'll be, and you can buy some CDs. Thank you. La 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 la. La 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 la. Bobby Trucks was a fat little boy living in a shitty little town. And every recess the dodgeball flew and knocked poor Bobby down. 4 o'clock when he got home, upstairs in his room, he closed the door, tie on his cape, put on his skin tight suit, and he'd sing, "Underdog, victorious, yeah." He was simply glorious. Someday he'll die notorious. Underdog, victorious. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. He tried out for the band, did covers of Matchbox 20, but he was dreaming of the New York Dolls in Max's Kansas City. Of course they never called him back, they thought he was too queer, but he didn't care. Back in his room he sang into the mirror, and he sang, "Underdog, victorious, yeah." He was simply glorious. Someday he'll die notorious. Underdog, victorious. La 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 la. La 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 la. He could see into the future. That was one of his great gifts. Thank you. And one day all those dodgeball bullies would dream of his sweet kiss, and they'd sing, everybody with me now, 1, 2, 3. Underdog, victorious, we're all underdogs. He was simply glorious, simply glorious. Someday he'll die notorious. Underdog, victorious. One more time. Underdog, victorious. Oh yeah. here last year that are here. So for those who weren't, my mom drove me out here, and I had my mom sing a song with me, and I'm going to have her sing again. Now, the thing about my mom is she's been very, very supportive of my my music. I did drop out of school. Well, I did my 3rd year abroad program in Spain and didn't tell her that I dropped out. But she's been very, very supportive. And the only thing is to be honest, and she'll be honest, my music isn't her cup of tea. She's into the hip hop. And so I decided we'd try kind of a folk version of Nellie's It's Getting Hot in Here. It was like, good gracious, that's is bodacious, so flirtatious, trying to show patience, looking for the right time to shoot my steam, looking for the right time to flash them keys. Then I'm pleading, please believe it, me and the rest of my heathens checked it, got topped at the top of 4 seasons, penthouse rooftop birds I'm feeding, no deceiving, nothing up my sleeve and no teasing. I need you to get up on the dance floor, give that man what he's asking for, 'cause I feel like busting loose, I feel like touching you, nobody stop the juice, so baby tell me what's the use, yeah, it's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes, it's so hot, I wanna take my clothes off. Why you at the bar, you ain't popping the bottles? What good is all the fame, you ain't fucking the model? See you driving a sports car, ain't hitting the throttle. Beat down to 100, hop down the goggles. Get off the freeway exit 106 park, get ashtray, flip gate, time to spark. Gucci collar for $1, got up and walked it. Spit the game, 'cause baby can't talk it. Warm sweating up to this joint, vocal tank top up to this point. You with the winners, so baby you can't lose. I got secrets, can't leave, can't cool. So take it off like you're home alone. Dance in front of the mirror while you're on the phone and checking your reflection, telling your best friend, I think my butt's getting big. It's getting hot in here. Just take off all your clothes. It's getting so hot, I wanna take my clothes off. It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. It's getting hot in here, so hot, so take off all your clothes. Yeah. I'm gonna do one more song, and I think because she got way more applause than me, I should bring my mother up for one last song. Now, this song was, I grew up, my feet were like, they were turned in? Was that what it was? They were funny. That's nice. So I had to wear braces and cast, and I had to go to wear these horrific orthopedic shoes, and I'd cry when Mom would make me go to Jerry's shoes, and I wrote her this song that mentions her, how I was mad, and she wrote a rebuttal. Well, everyone wore loafers, I needed more support. I'd always hide when we'd take a drive to that awful store. I had a choice of black or blue, the biggest, ugliest ass shoes. But what could I do? My feet, they came out funny. Mary McCady had Mary Jane's with that patent leather shine. She was known as Tinkerbell and I was Frankenstein. Big shoes before they were big. Big shoes I'll never forgive. My mother made me wear big shoes. In my class when spring came, sandals, they were all the rage. With plastic beads on straps to match your painted nails. Heavy-footed in the hall. But what I wanted most of all was red ball jets so I could get over the schoolyard fence. Keep on in, she had high heels. She went all the way. By the time I got up to bed, they called off the game. Big shoes, and every day you could see me coming a mile away. Outside you could hear them say, "Here comes big shoes." Ba, 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 Here comes big shoes.
If it wasn't for me and them big shoes, you'd never be on MTV News. You'd have crooked, crinkled, ugly toes, still be wearing Dr. Scholl's.
Big shoes, before they were cool, wanted feet so minuscule, even more than a swimming pool. Here comes big shoes. Ba 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 ba. Here comes big shoes. Thank you very much, everyone. Oh, and you know, if you want to sign my mailer, I have really good spam. It's really good. Thank you guys so much.
You have anything to hide?
I've got so much to hide. No. But not as much as my mother has to hide. I won't talk about her history as a call girl and how I was an accident. One of her Johns.
Check.
That's the first I've heard of that.
Okay. Rolling? Jill, I like that. That was cool.
Thank you.
I appreciate you taking a second and just chatting with us and giving us some insight into your life and all the crazy stuff that's
Sure.
going on. But actually, if we could start at the beginning and talk a little bit about how you found your way into music and how you went from there to being the big rock star that you are today.
Well-
You have a sentence.
It began.
Is there a song about this? Or there is now?
No. It began when I asked my mom for a drum set. And I must have been how old? My mother's out there, 5 years old. And then I got a drum set, but then somehow they convinced me that it wasn't that great of an instrument and I should play the guitar because I'm sure it was so annoying.
And guitar can be pretty annoying too when you're just learning.
And I have an older brother who was 7 years old and older than me, and so he had the rock band in town. So I wanted to be like him. So
Just followed in his footsteps.
followed in his footsteps. Yeah.
And then I'm guessing. Well, I know you grew up in this area, but were you playing clubs in this area, or I mean, how do you go from hanging out with your brother to making your next
I was in
step?
my first album and first solo was in my Hill Junior High School stage band. I did the solo on Diodato's 2001, and it was quite a sensation at
Was that
Hill
right?
Junior High. So I think that started it, and then I went to school and decided college that maybe I should make a real living and not do music, and then
What were you studying? What was your thought? If you weren't going to do this, what would it have been?
international affairs. I was
That's
going
when
to
you
go
sleep
to
with
George-
foreigners, or what?
Yeah, and that's what I thought. And then I went to school, and I had to take all these economic classes.
There you go. This isn't at all what I thought it was going to
No.
be. Where's the French guys?
I got to go on my third year abroad program. And with that program, you had to go somewhere.
It was
and
a
I went to
lesbian
Spain.
thing, right?
Yeah, it was third year abroad. God.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you take it. Then that's where, as a friend and I goofed off and said we were going to busk on the streets. And we did, and a guy came by and asked if we would play his club. And so my first
Really?
gigs were at a place called Canela y Menta in Sevilla. And I said that with kind of a Yiddish accent in Sevilla. And so that got the bug started again. And I wonder if that guy hadn't walked by, if I would be,
Doing
it
international
today.
affairs.
I would still be in international affairs.
And talk about how, I mean, I know that you tend to be very, at times, brutally, honest or straightforward in your music, not afraid to voice your political opinions. Have you always been that way, or is that something that you sort of use music as your way to get that voice out?
Probably, I've always been that way, but actually it's come out much later. I think even earlier in my music, it wasn't as vocal as I get older.
More opinionated now, or?
No, I think I'm more like, why the hell not?
Right.
What's the point? And also, I think as you develop as a writer, you instead of writing a pop song that seems like it would be on the radio because what's on the radio anymore, you write for yourself.
Right. And so earlier, were you trying to write the pop songs? Because you did have a big one. That was just...
I'm thinking earlier.
Okay.
But no, I think that was always a part of me, just... Right, you write for yourself,
right,
and hope that. Of course, you hope that other people like it.
Right.
Yeah,
you don't want to be the starving artist. Right. And then these days, who are you listening to? Who do you sort of look up to? And
wow, who do I? I'm trying to think. I have such eclectic taste. I'm trying to think of the last things I iTuned or I bought. Well, I bought a turntable couple weeks ago for the first time. I hadn't had one in a long time. Do you have one?
We still have one, I think, in the closet somewhere.
This is a brand new one, and it's really great. So I had to go and buy some and so I bought some that were comfort things.
I don't even know where you buy it. Do they still sell albums at the store?
Oh yeah, there's Amoeba Records where I am in Los Angeles, and you wouldn't believe how packed it is.
Really?
They have all used, and they have it's fantastic. But so I bought some old things, old comfort things, like a Neil Young record and Blue, Joni Mitchell.
Everything you
and then
grew
I
up
bought
with.
Sufjan Jones Stevens, a new record, and Bell and Sebastian records. People that are making still vinyl now. So
Very cool.
So I'm probably going to buy a lot of old. Today I just saw it in an antique store, and I might go back and get it a Hard Day's Night for $30.
Really?
But
I didn't even know that was an antique at this point, but I guess it is. Yeah.
But it's amazing when you the second I put that needle down, I on a Jimi Hendrix record. It was really...
Sounds the way it's supposed to sound.
Oh my God, it was great. And so I A-B'd it with, I was total nerd thing.
Right.
A-B'd it with the CD, and it was like,
Yeah.
except it's a drag, you have to turn it over, but... Yeah, and I'm not I don't even think it's just nostalgia. I really think it's.
It sounds different.
Better.
Well, it
I
sounds
think all
better.
those
A lot of people
zeros
do
and
say
ones are tiring.
Right. Well, Jill, we're looking forward to the show tonight. We appreciate a
Okay.
few minutes of your time. Do you have a song in closing that you want to just make up here impromptu?
If anyone has some vinyl that they never listened to, well, send it to me.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks.